this is a brilliant thing with the sport and with memes in general. Um, on that same union, UCI Cigarette International, I know whose account that is, by the way. It took me about 2 years to find out. It's brilliant. Um, he's got the youngest rider on the field who won, Asa. So first I saw that hip surgery, hip replacement, and I was like, oh, that must be great because he's old and he breaks a hip when he falls. But no, it's the youngest rider who literally. This is maybe one of the. I was expecting big things from this kid when I saw him riding in person at West Virginia, and he was without a doubt the fastest guy through sections. As the course sweep, um, at which eventually got kicked off from being court sweep. And then I was like, but he was injured as to the point where a week ago he wasn't sure if he would ride. He hadn't ridden his downhill bike for 5 weeks. He rode his downhill bike for the first time 4 days before the Fort William. Couldn't train because he's had hip surgery. So you got this young little kid having hip surgery, and you got the oldest guy that could break a hip when he falls. Man, and Greg hit the ground hard, and he's like become like the Incredible Hulk because he's just he knows he doesn't have a choice. He's going to get back up and keep going. So what Greg's done is amazing, and to get into that short, not being protected like he was last year to make it in was an accomplishment in himself. And then he obviously was going for it in a big way. But man, that kid, right? So he managed to get like a top 12 elite time at his first ever World Cup, right? And his first year junior and the first time riding this track and not training for 5 weeks on a smaller team, not a massive
That's
factory team,
scary, eh? That's so
right?
scary.
The stats, what are we going to see from
That's
this kid? Like we're
shocking.
like, you see Jackson Goldstone and you think it's an anomaly and we're not going to see another Jackson Goldstone in the sport for how many years to come because like it's very rare that we're going to get skills like this. But as we get older and all the young kids coming up, they've all got parents like me and you. Speaking of parents, Troy Brosnan's going to join the dad club pretty soon here this year. But so of course these kids are just going to get better and better and better because they're going to have like moto dads like me and you and Sam Hill, like from when like Ziggy's already on the bike and she's 14 months. Of course she's going to be good when she gets to like bloody first year junior.
It's the
um
10,000 hour rule, my man. You've heard of it.
hopefully she's into surfing and skateboarding because I don't know if I can still get free bike stuff when I'm like 60 or 70 and she's wanting like all the. Can you imagine having to get a kid from a 16-inch to a 29-inch and how many bikes and how much that's going to cost you and how long you'll have to work for the next God knows how long just to support. Seriously, this is, and I'm complaining it's expensive now. I don't even really pay for stuff
You don't
except
even
the
pay
odd.
for it now. It don't even look like it's horrific, man. I see it in the bike shop. I'm
Um,
like, wow, we're so lucky. But yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean,
so that
it's
so so
just
that kid, that kid, man, his
literally is a
run,
kid, eh?
yeah, and his run, he played it super well because I heard the commentary or the on-course commentators like, oh, he's just kind of cruising, and I was like, oh, he's not cruising. He just looks like he's cruising and having fun with it, and then he just like laid it down, and that other Parfit that had an incredible time as a local kid. Oh yeah, no, the junior racing was great to see, and the new, anyway. But yeah, we still got big things to come from that kid because wait till he is like you get him a proper NAR track, super tech, and when he's actually in peak condition, I just can like imagine Nico Mullally like the amount of like buyout offers and how he's going to try because I'm sure he's signed for more than 1 year and how the offers are going to do like how much is he going to be offered to buy out of his contract and at
You
what point does Mullally either
you
bring
know
in
what?
big
You know
outside
what?
money to make his team big because that's what he needs to do. Like, let's get some
Yeah, yeah.
pharmaceutical
No,
company
yeah, yeah.
and like
You you know what we need? Like with Yeti used to do the development program, and there's a few teams. They should say, like, when you sign a rider, then the team that poaches him, well, like buying out of contract
mm,
something else, but you should get a bonus for being the team that developed him. They do it in soccer, right? If you sign a kid, then
Yeah.
it's like an exit clause. I'm butchering the name, but my mate's like does a bit of agency at home, and like if
Yeah.
you sign the soccer kid for the amount of years you've had him, and then he goes on to be pro, you get back paid some of that money. You get a percentage for developing the kid. I don't know the correct terminology, but you could think, okay, we've developed this kid for 2 years. Someone's gonna offer him so much money that the team can't match. He should have like, like it's not like
Yeah, for
another
sure.
year on the contract, but they should say, okay, well, there's a signing bonus for taking him away from us, whatever it is, because then
No,
that would
100% agree.
incentivize people to develop younger talent, knowing that they're going to let them go, but then the team
Yeah.
or whoever takes them has to pay them like, a couple grand or whatever it is. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
we
And on the
start that, but that would be sick.
and I think that is pretty much going to start happening now anyway. And on the flip side, I am pretty proud of companies that do spot and nurture and develop a first year junior into second. And if he doesn't end up performing or delivering, they don't just kick him to the curb on first year elite, even though they know he's going to get totally smoked, Um, so hats off to the couple of big factory teams that have like sort of still committed to the rider for 1 year, not just sign a 2 year junior deal and see how you go, and then we'll re-sign you, and give him that third sort of thank you year on elite to see if he finds his feet.